to What Are You Reading, a podcast with the Public Library of Mount Vernon, Knox County. I'm Christie.
And I'm Katie.
And this month, we all know we're in February. It is the end of the month, but Katie and I decided that we would do some romance for, the month of Valentine's. So we both went around and we had a little bit of a hard time at first because we've read a lot. And we were looking for something maybe a little different, something that maybe kind of like jumped off the shelves to us. And I had recently heard that there was a new Netflix film called People We Meet on Vacation, and that it was a rom-com. And I thought, you know what? I read a lot of dark romance. I read a lot of like dark academia. And this one was a rom-com. So I thought, well, why don't I kind of get out of my box of darkness and try something fun? So I picked up People Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. And like I said, there's a companion film out right now. And I did grab the large print copy because I have an easier time reading large print. So I do struggle with the smaller font. So I'm always really glad when we have the large print copy, and we usually do. What did you pick?
I picked Outlaw Lake by Maisey Yates. I also got the large print.
Nice.
We only have it in large print at the moment, but hopefully we will be getting the regular print soon. But yeah, so
Yay!
I tend to gravitate towards second chance romance. And I mean, this kinda could be seen that way, but it's more friends to lovers.
Okay, which is interesting because that's what mine was too. So mine follows Alex and Poppy, and they are polar opposites. So they're opposite in every way, very like odd couple, right? And the reason they meet is in college, they end up in the same rideshare car. So, not to drop brands, but, they're in like an Uber, they call a car company, and they end up agreeing to share it. So coming home from the bar, they strike up a friendship like right away. And that's all it is. It's a friendship. And like everyone around them can't figure it out because they are just like completely opposite people. We've got the big city girl and the small town boy and all of those things, going on. But they're just the best of friends. And to the point where every year, even outside of college, they go on a vacation together, like a summer vacation. Up until one summer, something happens between the two of them that's romantic, and it freaks everyone out. And they decide to stop being friends, unfortunately. And so we have like a little bit of a time jump, and they are brought back together, and they agree to go on one more vacation. And during that vacation, some sparks fly and they rekindle the romance. So I had a great time with this. At first, I didn't think, like I said, I love it. Dark, just depressing. It's terrible. You guys know, because some of the stuff that I picked. So this was kind of out of my shell, but it was so funny. There were so many like really cute moments. There's like tripping on the airplane aisle and, landing smack dab in a place you probably don't want to land, right, with your best friend. Things like that were just like really cute and funny. And I loved Alex and Poppy. Their relationship is fantastic. And I know a lot of us have had like that best friend who you just can't imagine your life without. And so that part was a little emotional, like reading about their time apart, like, if you've ever read the Twilight series, when Edward is gone from the relationship, there's just like the pages that just say the months, where Bella's just sitting there and it's just like November. And it's just a blank page with November in the center and then, December and so forth. And that was how I felt. Like them without each other was really sad. So when they're given that opportunity to come back together to, try their friendship one more time, it gave you all those feels. So this is, a happy, fun, just romantic comedy. It definitely helped during these winter months when it's just we're in Ohio, and we're kind of central Ohio. So we've had like a snowstorm with like 11 inches of snow. Every day's been gray. It's been negative, 10 plus with the wind chill. So we had a hard time. We've been sick. So this book was, and I mean, even the cover. So for those of you not watching, we have like a beach scene, the Alex and Poppy are relaxing in these beautiful chairs, and it just gives you all of those summer vibes and warmth and spring and just thinking about what the promise to come. So it was perfect as a romance for February, but also helped with just being like the dreariest, coldest, snowiest winter we've had in Ohio in a long time. So that was a good choice.
Yeah.
What was yours about?
So mine is very similar. So in Outlaw Lake, we have Carson Wilder and Perry Bramble. Perry is short for periwinkle.
Oh, cute.
So, and she's a florist.
Oh, no way.
So, they have been friends forever. And ever since her family moved in, like, to the place next door to Carson's family ranch. It's really interesting because Perry's dad was like, don't you go over there. Because they're beneath us. But Perry's dad was very abusive. So she ran to Carson, and they played pirates. And so they were little when they were together, when they became friends. And then through happenstance, they always stayed friends. But then Carson went off to war. He came back with a wife. And Perry has been in love with him forever. But he came back with a wife. And then a couple years later, the wife died.
Oh, wow.
And it broke Carson. And Perry was the only one who was able to, like, pull him out of it. But now they are... she comes over to his place every night. They have dinner. They watch a movie, or, so like they have become each other's, not a boyfriend, not a girlfriend, but a substitute for that. And Perry finally realizes that. The word codependent bounces around a lot in the book.
Sure.
And I will admit that at first I was like, oh, this is really bad. Because I had just read a book on relationships and when they go wrong. In part because of codependency.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, danger.
Right.
Danger.
So you were getting like all the red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Perry decides to do something about it. And she's like, the only way that both of us can get on with our lives is if I move to the next town over, which is like a half hour an hour away. And I can expand my florist shop. I can get land so that I can grow flowers that will go in the shop. And there'll be some distance between her and Carson. So she breaks it to Carson, and Carson flips out. And he's like, we're not codependent. And it's like,
sorry, buddy, you are.
Yeah. It's like, you kind of are, though.
Yeah.
So he makes a deal with her. She lives in a Victorian mansion that has been in the family for generations, and it's falling apart. She has to sell it in order to purchase the space for her florist shop in the other town. So he said, how about you move into the cabin behind my house, and I will fix up your house so that you can get your top dollar for when you leave. What could go wrong?
Right. This is like almost the one bed trope, right? Where
it is very,
you get to the inn and there's one bed and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, because and in the explanation on the back, it's not real clear. And I was like, oh, she moves in with him? She moves into his property, not to his house.
Gotcha. Okay.
But semantic distinction.
Yeah, indeed.
So, and he's trying to start a new business, and he's kind of using her house as he wants to get into the restoration business. So that's how he gets her to go along with it. And his brothers are like, and sister are like, you are crazy. I don't know what's going on. Why? Like, and even his wife, we find out, was like, you don't love me as much as you love Perry. And still he was like, no, she's my best friend.
Right. Yeah.
So you'll have to read the rest to get the way that they figure things out.
Find out how it goes down. See if they end up together.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes, mine I think was a little bit more angsty than yours.
Yeah, mine was like it was stressful for me just because I can imagine that, and I have so many close friends I love so much, and for me that was the most distressing thing was like the friendship not being able to withstand something like that. So it's like, no, not your best friend, not like the friend group.
Yeah, which is exactly what they were angsty about, because it's like, oh well, I can't tell him,
right?
Because then he won't, like, if things go wrong, we won't be friends anymore. Yeah, because we'll be exes.
Totally.
So he was the same way. He was like, I don't want her to run away and not be my friend anymore.
Yeah, having to come to that realization that like you can't do this anymore. Somebody has to say something because like it's gonna go wrong either way. So. Hey, perfect timing, right? That's the chime. Let us know we've reached the end of our podcast. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a really good time with these. It was a little bit of sunshine in a really dark time. So we're happy to be moving on into March. So join us next month for another episode of the podcast. We've got some great stuff coming your way this year. So stay tuned. And as always, stop in, say hi. Let us know what you think if you pick up any of these titles we have on the show. Let us know. We'd love to hear what you think too. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.